Hello and welcome to the fourth and final part of Maxeler tutorials presented by Faculty of Electrical Engineering in Belgrade. In this part I will show you how to write a moving average program. I suppose you heard about it, but in case you didn't, it is a simple array manipulation problem. It will illustrate how more complex data flow kernels are written. The goal is to make a kernel that calculates an average of every 3 consecutive elements of the array, except for the case of first and last element where we calculate the average of 2 consecutive elements. In this video I will go through 4 main parts of our Maxeler program in the following order. First, CPU code, second, data flow kernel, third, manager, and fourth, the sim runner. Open the integrated development environment that we have prepared in part 1 of this tutorial series. The easiest way to start your project is to create a complete Max compiler template and then adjust certain files according to the purpose of your program. To start with, click on File, New, Max compiler project. Choose a project name and then select the CPU Stream Vector Edition as a manager template. Enable both engine code and CPU code development and click Next. Leave DFE model and naming options at default settings and click Next. Leave CPU code file name and SLIC interface at default settings and click Finish. Now I will modify 3 files that represent CPU code, kernel, and manager. Later I will add a new class that will represent the sim runner for testing purposes. Again, I will replace the content of these files with previously prepared code in order to spare your time. In CPU code folder you will see a file called CPU stream cpucode.c. Open it. For a detailed explanation about Maxeler CPU code, watch one of the previous parts of this tutorial series. At this moment I just want to point out this line. Here you can see an additional parameter which represents color input for our data flow kernel. You will understand what this parameter represents in a couple of moments. Now I'll explain parts of the data flow kernel that are new in this part of the tutorial. In engine code folder you will find a file called cpustreamkernel.maxj. Open it. Here I accept the current element from the stream X. Here I accept scalar input from stream N. This was the additional parameter that I mentioned a couple of moments ago. I will use this parameter as the array length so I can check if I am manipulating with the last element of the array. This variable represents a simple counter in data flow kernels. If I am handling the first element of the array, value of this variable will be 1. If I am handling the second element of the array, value of this variable will be 2, and so on. First of all, here you can see a conditional statement implemented in Maxeler. There are no ifs and elses, just a ternary operator. What this line means is, if the value of counter is 0, I assign 0, else I assign a previous element from the stream X. Here, if the value of counter equals the array length minus 1, I assign 0, else I assign the next element from the stream X. Divider represents a number that we have to divide our summation with. As you have seen at the start, that number is always 3 except the 2 special cases, the first and the last element when the number is 2. Here we check if we are currently at the first or at the last element. If so, we assign 2, else we assign 3. Here we do the arithmetics. At last we pass the variable result to the output stream called Z. In engine code folder you will find a file called cpustreammanager.maxj. Manager is the exact same as in the part 2, so if you need any information you can watch that video. Our moving average program is ready and we should run it now. Right click on your project in Project Explorer, click Run As and choose Simulation. First you can see the input values, and in the end you can see the output values. Now I'll write a simple sim runner to test our moving average application. In engine code folder I'll create a new package called testing. In that package I'll create a new Maxj class called moving average sim runner. The sim runner is almost the same as in the part 3, except I've changed the input and the output data, and I've added one very important line. Here I add scalar input to the data flow kernel through stream n. Let's run the test. Right click on sim runner, choose Run As and click on Java application. You will see all the elements from the kernel output stream, and finally you will see test passed OK. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. For more information, see the description below the video.